Men's field, Boston Marathon. You have three gentlemen now who are sub 205 in terms of PBs. Again, as is the story for the women, some of the PBs are from several years ago. The biggest name in here is Lalisa DeCisa. His PB comes from 2013, and he DNF'd the Olympics, but he's won Boston twice. He won world championships though in 2019. He's always on the podium in a major every year, like consistently knocking out podiums after podium after podium. He's the familiar name in here. He's the guy that I would pick to win just because everybody else, there's a ton of question marks, but there's also a lot of upside with some of these runners. So I don't know. Internationally, it's tough to sort out. For the Americans, you got Abdirahman, Scott Fauble, Colin Benny, Scott Smith. Um, I think this might be a situation where we're gonna have a interesting breakout for an American, but I'm not sure who it is. But the other interesting thing to note, two really, really fast half marathoners are jumping in this and could factor in Ymer of Ethiopia, who's run 58:33. He's not technically a debutant because he DNF'd in Valencia, but he's run sub 66 times, and then Barsetone of Kenya 59:09 Gordon in the half marathon for him.
Yeah, I mean, 58:33 half marathon is pretty damn quick. So he's probably going to be in the mix for a top five potentially. But yeah, I mean, looking at this field, it's kind of, I feel like very different from the women in that from American perspective, where the women, you had kind of like these three names. You thought
Mhm.
maybe one of them is going to have a great race and finish in the top seven. Here,
Yeah.
you just have a bunch of 209, 210, 211 guys. And you, most likely, we're going to have, I think there's a good chance that the top American will be a storyline because it's going to be an American that we did not expect to beat the top American. If it's
Mm.
Scott Fauble or Abdirahman, then
Mhm.
it's an expected top American. But if it's anyone else, everyone's gonna be like, "Whoa, all right,
Yeah.
Colin Benny, top American. Whoa, Matt McDonald. Oh, ooh, interesting. Reed Buchanan. Oh
Yeah.
wow, Parker Stinson, top American. You know, like there's just gonna be that. Whoa, Germa Machezo,
Mhm.
debut marathon, top American. They're just. I feel like there's gonna be a headline
Mhm.
breakout top American star from this men's race.
I like Benny. I think this will be interesting because this is the first one since the marathon project, first marathon, 209:38. You want to see, hey, does this guy have staying power? The honor of second best American men's marathoner is just wide open. It's just right for the taking. Anybody who wants it can grab it. So go get it in this Boston Marathon. Just as there's a bunch of on the American side, right? 209, 210, 211 is internationally, it's the same thing, just the times are a little bit faster. You just have a ton of 204 through 207. So could one of these guys break out or get their old form? Someone like Jeffrey Karui, who's won Boston before? Maybe, maybe. But again, like with the women, I think if you ranked the top 10 marathoners in the world right now, you might put DeCisa on that list just based on his history and just his ability every year to get at least one podium finish in a major. But past that, I don't think you'd have anybody else on this list. Doesn't mean somebody can't join that group in Boston, but there's nobody that the field is going to be deferring to or keying off of as, oh, this guy's the favorite.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't. I mean,
All right.
I'm trying to figure out who. Sometimes it's just so hard to read marathoning. It makes me think like I feel like sports books could make a lot of money on marathon betting because there's gonna be so many bad beats that happen in a marathon that you're
Mm-hmm.
just it's people are gonna think they're gonna make so much money and then not. So I mean, who would you say is the? Do you think there's any minus money here? No, not in any, not on the
No,
men or
no,
the
no, no,
women
no, no,
side,
no,
right? Yeah,
no, no. Yeah. Even in a somewhat more lopsided marathon, it'd be tough to get minus money just because there's just such a high possibility of a DNF or something going wrong.
yeah,
I think that on the men's side, it's really an obvious statement, but I think the top 3 guys would be the favorites, Desisa, Berhanu, and Mengstu. Desisa because of how consistent he's been. Berhanu's been solid for a bit now, and Mengstu has the best PB. So you think, okay, those 3 guys, and then nobody else has this compelling case. It's not as if, oh yeah, that guy's run 206, but they're 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 a machine in championship style marathons, and they're gonna eat up this Boston course. Half marathon guys are interesting. I could also see them DNFing because Boston is tough, and it's a tough, especially if you DNF Valencia. This is going to be a challenge. But hey, if you run 58:33, running 205 pace is going to seem pretty manageable. 206 pace is going to seem pretty manageable. But
Okay, here's a
I'm
question
with
for
you
you.
on the breakout American star though. I think that could happen for sure.
What place does the top American on the men's side need to finish for us to kind of have put like more like to for us to like consider, woo, whoa, that you're not just like a top American, you're showing yourself. Like what does a top American need to run here for them to get respect on an international level? Because right now, the international level doesn't
Yeah,
even notice 208, 209, 210 runners.
I think it would have to be something pretty stacked. Like I think it would need to be a top 3.
Top three, yeah, it would be
Yeah,
third, right? If an American
you'd have to.
finishes fifth, you're gonna be like, oh, okay, whatever.
It depends on the nature of fifth. This is one of those things where it's, 5 wide coming down
True,
Boylston,
true,
then you'd
yeah,
still get respect. But if it's one of those where top 3 are within 30 seconds, then there's a 2-minute gap for fourth, and there's another minute gap for fifth.
yeah, yeah.
That's just not going to bring in the type of respect that you're talking about. I think if someone finishes third here in this race, then that person de facto, and depending on what happens in Chicago the day before, is going to be, hey, this is the second best marathoner in the United States, and it might be too hasty to make that proclamation. But what other evidence are you going to go off of? I guess you could wait till New York and see the results there, but nobody else has made a compelling case. It's Rupp and
What we
then a
need to
big
do
guy.
is we need to bring back the marathon project, but only bring back uh 4 dudes. No, 3 dudes. And it's just a 3-man race for the title of second best marathoner in the US. So you bring the second American that finishes at Chicago behind Rupp, top
Hmm.
American at Boston, top American at New York, and then we take
Yeah.
those 3 athletes, put them in a chamber, don't let them
Mm.
talk to their family for 6 months, and then make them run a
Yeah.
marathon.
Yeah.
And then we live stream it, make a reality show out of it. And it says, and then Galen Rupp is the host. And it's like
Yeah.
they're all
Who's number
challenging
2?
each other for the opportunity to race him in the next marathon. That's
I
what we
mean,
need to
who's
make
number
happen.
2 does have a nice ring to it. Only you would come
Yeah,
up
who's
with a
number
reality
2?
show where the premise would be who's the second best at something. That's incredible.
With the
Wondering,
number 1 guy being the host, Galen Rupp as the host.
yeah,
That's what I want. That would be
yeah.
funny.
Okay, that's the twist that makes it worth it. On its
And
face, though,
like
it's amazing.
the challenges are like Galen Rupp's workouts. Like those are the challenges. And so like
Mm,
each challenge like has to like pace him and like be his
yeah.
rabbit for like a workout. And then
Mhm.
there's drama. They're talking in the phone booth like, oh, I just did a tempo with Galen and he broke me at mile 4, whatever. I don't know. But like
Here's the problem with it. Here's
be
the problem
fun.
with your fake show. Do you think? I mean, Rupp's not going to give up that sort of intel. He might host it, but I don't think he wants anybody seeing the workouts, right?
He can give it up. He's too good. He could
In,
give. I mean,
in the battle for
that
number
is
2.
not the number one problem. The number one problem isn't Galen Rupp showing his workouts.
Oh, 100%.